the second half and the third quarter, I think maybe one shot. I mean, it was not what I expected. And we had all these conversations and debates about GOAT and this, that, and the other, which, you can't really have that real, you can't really make an argument for that. And to me, when you come out and you're passive and you kind of just don't give it your all when your team needs you, you can't really have that discussion as far as I'm.
Stop pretending this debate is settled. If rings are the currency of greatness, the receipt at the register still says 5 for Kobe, 4 for LeBron.
I don't want this conversation. When I retire, I don't want people to say, okay, he only won because of Shaq. As unfair as that is, Magic never won without Cap, right? Michael never won without Scottie. Here I am getting stuck with this argument, which is not fair, but yet this is the argument people will make, and I'm not okay with that. So therefore I knew, okay, I gotta go.
And every time the lights got hottest, the guy in purple and gold paid in cash. That's the uncomfortable truth fans keep trying to tiptoe around while they reshuffle all-time lists like they're mixing a play.
Where is Kobe on your all-time list?
Easily top 10, probably top 5. He's not my GOAT.
List. You can hear it in barbershops, on panels, in comment sections that never sleep. Where's Kobe on your list? People say top 10 like it's charity. Some even shove him to 11 with a shrug. Meanwhile, the same mouth.
Where is Kobe on your all-time list?
Easily top 10, probably top 5. He's not my GOAT because he's number 2 as the off guard. He didn't eclipse Jordan. So because he didn't eclipse Jordan, he's number 2. And because we're making the argument about LeBron in terms of his versatility, being a guy that can play 4 different positions, being a point forward, being a guy that's a 27-point per game scorer and kind of things that he's been able to do. But LeBron's resume, in a lot of people's eyes, 10 NBA Finals, 4 MVPs, 4 championships. I look at Kobe and even
that dismiss him crown LeBron before the scoreboard's even cold. It's wild. And it's why we're here. Let's confirm the headline you clicked for. This is...
You think that Kobe Bryant is anywhere between 7 and 11?
Where do you have him?
I got him at 11. That's why I have him.
A what?
Yes, I have him outside the top 10, yes.
11.
James,
Keep
Jordan,
going.
Jabbar, Chamberlain, Russell, Magic, Bird, Duncan, Olajuwon, Diesel. Those are the 10 guys that I had him. With that being said, now,
what the hell?
Is the Kobe versus LeBron conversation. Not sanitized, not nostalgia drunk, not prisoner of the moment. We're going to the core. What defines legacy when it actually matters? I'm laying out the film room realities.
Wow. Kobe Bryant. Where's Kobe Bryant?
I'd put him... He's in my top 10.
What the f***?
Huh? Top 10?
What kind of is that?
There's Shaquille O'Neal, and
Okay.
there's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and there's Magic Johnson.
The championship math, the competitive gauntlets, and the testimony of people who had to guard them when the season was down to a possession. Because if you want the truth, you have to stand in June, not in January, and you have to measure fear, not follower counts. Here's the tease, and keep a mental tally.
because he's number 2 as the off guard. He didn't eclipse Jordan. So because he didn't eclipse Jordan, he's number 2.
Because each one pays off. There's a night in Phoenix where perfect defense still wasn't enough. There's a Game 7 against Boston that stitched Kobe's name into Laker mythology with rough thread and bruised ribs. There's a primetime TV special where one superstar left home to build a super team, then lost his first finals with it. There's an Achilles tendon that snapped and a man who limped to the line anyway and buried both free throws. Click confirmed? Good. Public sentiment says LeBron's versatility wins. Contrarian twist. Jewelry talks louder. Quick proof. 5 beats 4. Roadmap so you can track the ride. First, loyalty and team building, the second strongest lens most fans ignore. Then the strongest point. Rings plus killer instinct under the bright lights, and after that the rest of the picture. Competition level, the media machine, the work, the Western gauntlet, the eye test you feel in your chest even if a spreadsheet doesn't. Start with the part people love to skip. How a great is built, not just how a great plays. Kobe spent 20 years under the same banners, through champagne parades and through nights the calendar forgot. No emergency exit. No relocation special. No text thread assembling prime stars like it's a summer camp. He was drafted into purple and gold and died a Laker legend on the floor and in the rafters. That's not sentimental, it's structural. It means he lived with the consequences. When the big fella left, the storyline said, now what? He didn't hop cities. Here he built the house from the studs and hung 2 more banners in back-to-back seasons with his fingerprints on every doorknob. He heard the noise, can't win without Shaq, and treated it like a training plan. Hold that thought for a second loop later. We'll return to the 2 titles that drown the sidekick narrative forever. Now pivot to the other side of the ledger. When Cleveland got heavy, LeBron staged an hour-long announcement and took his talents to South Beach. He joined two other prime All-NBA talents. That's a choice, a strategic one, and it worked eventually, but it also produced a first-year finals flop with the best help money, sunshine, and off-ball gravity could offer. Later, he returned home and won. Historic, unforgettable, and the shot that punctured the Warriors came from Kyrie's hands, a truth no amount of editing can crop out. Fast forward again, and it's Los Angeles with Anthony Davis, a top 5 force, and a bubble title in a controlled environment. Pattern recognized? LeBron's greatest heights have a familiar supporting skyline, super friends. Kobe's most defining peaks were forged in the same city he walked into as a kid, under standards he refused to lower for himself or anyone else. You can hate the tone, don't hate the record, but you didn't click for civic pride. You clicked for legacy in the fire. So here's the strongest point on the table, and it's the one that ends arguments in land where banners live. June basketball. When the stage gets small and the moment gets cruel, you find out who can breathe. Kobe inhaled pressure like altitude training. Game 4, 2000 finals. Shaq fouls out in overtime. 21-year-old kid looks at the season, nods, and takes it. Points in OT. Series tilts. Dynasty begins. File it. 2009. Dwight and the New Age Magic. Taken care of. And then the real one. 2010 against Boston. The team that had humiliated the franchise 2 years prior. A Game 7 that felt more like a steel cage match than a basketball game. It wasn't poetry. It was persistence. Misses, rebounds, grit, and the stubborn kind of will you can't measure until you're drowning in it. He dragged the night to the finish line and crossed it first. That ring doesn't shimmer. It growls, and it wasn't isolated perfection. Phoenix, Western Conference Finals, last minute. Defender guesses right, stays down on the pump, contests like a clinic, and Kobe still hangs, aims, and punctures the noise with a shot so disrespectful he patted the opposing coach on the way back. That's not stats. That's scar tissue. Dallas, 2006, 62 through 3/4, more than the entire Mavericks roster at that point, and he's at the fourth because the job was already smoking. Then there's the night that turned the word 81 into a proper noun. No bloated pace explosions. No free stat padding when the stands are half empty. Just shot after shot into defenses that knew exactly what was coming and still couldn't damn it. That's not a number, it's a biography. If you're feeling the tension, good. Let's crank it. April 12, 2013. Achilles tear. The kind of injury that has ended careers and stolen futures. He crumples, grimaces, breathes, and then, this is where lesser myths evaporate, stands, hobbles to the stripe, and buries both free throws like muscle memory outran pain. Walks off under his own power. Tell that story at any youth camp in any sport, and watch the room get quiet. That's more than tough. That's commitment made visible. Now bring in the voices who had to live with the matchup. Players who saw both up close talk about Kobe in hushed terms even when they're laughing. They use words like fear and assassin and relentless, and they don't use them lightly. Veterans who battled LeBron and Kobe in elimination games make a distinction you can feel. Against one, you believed if you executed the scheme you had a shot. Against the other, you felt like you were auditioning for a role you were never going to book. Guards who chased Kobe through a forest of screens still remember the angles of his footwork more vividly than the box score. Bigs who switched onto him learned new definitions of no space. Former teammates didn't get cuddles, they got standard operating procedures. It rubbed some wrong. It raised many higher. Pau Gasol doesn't tell his Lakers story without Kobe's demands turning him into a champion. Role players who most fans forget have rings on their hands because the star refused to accept their C+ when an A was possible. Meanwhile, the counterargument arrives wearing analytics and longevity. It's true. LeBron's counting stats are a marvel of durability and modern sports science. It's true. He has hit big shots, authored massive comebacks, and strung together a career that would break most bodies. It's also true that when heat rises, he's often calculating, playing the long game, cramps and minutes management, and off nights where he drifts into neutral. That's not a crime. It's a plan. But it's a different story than the one we tell about Kobe, who treated Tuesday in February like a Game 5 in May, who was willing to be the villain, whose approach was less optimize and more overwhelm. That difference matters when we talk about fear, and fear matters in June. Let's rewind the slander timeline because narratives don't pop out of thin air. They said he was selfish. They said he couldn't win without the big man. They said he would never be Jordan, so why bother? And while they said all that, an entire media machine was queuing up the next heir apparent. LeBron was the future, Kobe was the past, Neat, clickable, easy to digest. Then reality walked in wearing a stitched-up finger and a scowl. Kobe didn't file a complaint with the discourse. He filed banners with the building. The just a sidekick smear ended the week he lifted the trophy without Shaq and then ended again when he did it twice. While we're here, a word about neighborhoods. The West that Kobe fought through wasn't a highway, it was a switchback mountain road. Spurs dynasties with Pop chessing every possession. Nash Suns playing offense with lightning. Dirk's Mavericks who wanted your soul at the elbow. Young Thunder with Durant and Westbrook throwing future MVPs at you like fastballs. Survive that, and then talk to me about who you beat in June. Kobe's 5 rings came through Reggie's Pacers, Iverson Sixers when the little giant was breathing fire, Kids Nets, then Dwight's peak Orlando, then the Big 3 Celtics who wanted to close the Laker book themselves.